Welcome to Sports Talk with Lee. This is a Michigan Wolverine rant about the last 2 years. Now, what does 2 years have to do with the college football playoff? Well, it's simple. As a Michigan fan, we can't be happy. We last year were not in the very first Big Ten title game, and little brother, or the other team from up north, Michigan State, won the very first Big Ten title game. Okay, fine. This year, the college football playoff, Ohio State whooped Alabama, whooped Oregon, and they are the very first college football playoff champions, or the national champions by way of college football playoff. And, this, sure, in the long run, it won't mean much, as long as Jim Harbaugh returns us to our previous glory. And by glory, I mean always contending for a Big Ten title. And, nowadays, if you win the Big Ten, you go on to the college football playoff probably 3 out of 4 years, or every other year. Who knows? Who knows what it's going to look like? But, Michigan State can brag now that, hey, they were the first Big Ten title winner. And now Ohio State can brag that, hey, we were the first college football playoff winner. So hopefully we can turn things around here at Michigan within 3 years, I think, tops. And I say that because I can't stand getting kicked around, by our rivals. I actually think this next year is going to be in our favor. Doesn't look like our schedule is that tough. I believe we get Michigan State and Ohio State at home. That might not mean anything. I was watching the Fox Sports predictions for next year, and 2 of the analysts actually have Michigan State and Ohio State in the college football playoff for next year. Which, for that to happen, they'd both have to beat Michigan, and I don't expect us to win, but I sure as hell hope we win at least one of those games. Do I think we will? No, realistically, I don't. But I'd like close games. I'd like to see Jim Harbaugh turn this team around quick. I want instant gratification. I can't do it. I can't stand losing to Michigan State and Ohio State. I just can't do it. So, as a Michigan fan, more than ever, all we have is the past. And Michigan State and Ohio State are the present, unfortunately, and it's time to go get them. So, and how do we do that? Well, Jim Harbaugh's going to have to get his quarterback. Quarterback is the most important position, and I think that shows. Urban Meyer is a quarterback coaching guru, and he won on his run game. He beat Oregon because of his run game. Jim Harbaugh's coached good running games for Stanford. San Francisco was pretty good. So Jim Harbaugh knows how to get it done. I fully expect him to get it done. He made Stanford 11-1 his final season there. I think it was 11-1, 12-1, something like that. He had a good running game, had a good offensive line, good tight ends, quarterback. I mean, he built a solid team there. And then in the NFL with San Francisco, he showed some guts. I don't know if you guys remember, but the Alex Smith boot rollout where he ran so many yards, I don't remember, 20 yards, maybe it was a touchdown. I don't remember. But I remember crazy. That was like 4th and 1 or something like that, or 4th and 3 or something. Jim Harbaugh's not afraid to take a chance here and there and do things that the team's not going to expect. So I fully expect a good turnaround within 2-3 years. 4 years might be, he definitely better be there within 4 years. And by there, I mean in a college football playoff. But I mean, second year, I really would like to see some competing for a Big Ten title. The thing that's tough is that second year, if I'm right, we play Michigan State and Ohio State on the road. And so that'll be tough. But then third year, I'm assuming we'll have him back at home. And so third year, we should get there no matter what, my opinion. I know he's recruiting this kid down in Texas right now that's really good, a 5-star. I was looking at some of his stats. I think he had like 40 some touchdowns, 2 interceptions, or something ridiculous. But that kid could be really good. And I know all Michigan fans have been talking about Malzone, but this Texas kid, whoo, that'd be sweet. So, unfortunately, we are now recruiting against Michigan State and Ohio State. I mean, what do we have against them? We have great helmets, great tradition. Our team has not been great last few years. So, Michigan State and Ohio State have been. That's tough. So, Ohio State coming off a national championship, scary, because that's going to help them with recruiting against us, which stinks. Michigan State coming off of a big win, going to be ranked top 4 if they're not already. I don't know if the rankings came, the postseason rankings came out, but top 4 in the country. Big Ten champion last year, Rose Bowl champion last year. So it's an uphill climb for us. But yeah, I am not happy about Ohio State winning. I'm not mad about it, but I'm a little worried because I feel like with the Jim Harbaugh hire and some of our other coaching hires and keeping Madison, I really felt like momentum was good for us. But I really think Ohio State winning has put a damper on things for many reasons. I think if there's a team or a kid that's between schools and one just won the national championship and the other one's wasn't in a bowl game or anything, that's a hard sell. We're lucky it's Michigan and that Michigan still has a lot of name value. And I actually think we have a lot more talent than people realize. And that's not even based on recruiting numbers. Recruiting numbers fluctuate also by the schools that recruit a kid. It has nothing to do with, I shouldn't say nothing. It doesn't have everything to do with their performance in high school and their size and things like that. I remember the days when, for example, Notre Dame was terrible and they would have top recruiting classes and all these 4-star recruits that before Notre Dame was recruiting them, they were 2-star recruits, just weird stuff. And that's happened with Michigan too. They're recruiting a 3-star kid who jumps up to a 4-star or 2 or jumps up to a 3, so I don't put a ton of stock in all of the recruiting buzz, but, Michigan has talent, and that's just the reality of it. Our defense was solid and, our offense, I think we just didn't have a quarterback and we didn't have an offensive line. And no disrespect to Devin Gardner, because I think if we had a better offensive line, he could have looked like $1 million back there. The offensive line collapsing up the middle on him 2 years ago, scary. This last year didn't improve. That's for damn sure. So I don't put a lot of blame on Gardner. It's hard when you're taking a snap and you're expected to take a few steps back and then step forward. When a 280-pound or 300-pound dude is right there, like, are you really going to step forward into that to make a throw? Probably not. So, and that happened a lot. So protection broke down way too quick. So Gardner's not fully to blame. And I also think he was at the wrong position. I think when they realized there was a quarterback battle with Shane Morris, Gardner should have went right back to wide receiver. Because I also think he didn't have the weapons that he needed. Funchess, sure, he's a good receiving threat. He's not as fast as I would like to see. Gardner's fast. Gardner did well a couple years ago when he was lining up at wide receiver against Alabama. He was making a couple catches. And I actually think Gardner's better than Funchess as a wide receiver. And Jake Butt is a good tight end, so you could have done a lot of things if you would have switched Gardner to the outside there, and had Shane Morris as our quarterback. And they hesitated to make the switch. I don't think it would have been that hard of a switch. And we paid for it. And Brady Hoke lost his job, and ultimately we end up with Jim Harbaugh, so I'm not upset. Jim Harbaugh, I think, would make those kinds of decisions. I think he would move guys around if he felt the need to, and frankly, he's going to get these kids to work their butt off. So anyways, that's all I have to say about this. I'm really kind of, not bummed about Ohio State winning. Really, they should have, if they would have lost to Alabama, that would have been ideal. But they didn't. So anyways, go blue. And yeah, hopefully, Michigan gets back on top soon. Thank you very much. Bye.